the most brutal F1 injuries ever survived by a talking hat. I don't know if any of y'all watch F1. I watched the F1 movie and I seen Damson Idris fly in the sky and then get eviscerated and like those, so I know it's actually very treacherous. So let's see how it's going on.
Spring incident.
Let's see what's going on with it, bro.
Spring incident. On July 25th, in 2009, Felipe Massa was having the season of his life at the Hungaroring circuit. The Brazilian Ferrari driver was leading the Formula One World Championship and was currently fighting for what would be his first world title. On a calm Saturday evening, while qualifying for the Hungarian Grand Prix, Felipe was pushing his car to the absolute limit and trying to secure the pole position for the official race. His car was screaming down the straightaway at over 160 miles per hour.
See, I couldn't do F1, bro. Like, they say most people die in cars, and F1 goes at that, like, high of speeds, bro. It's over.
Flying past onlookers in just the blink of an eye. Rubens Barrichello, the man racing ahead of him, began struggling to keep his spot in the front. And seemingly, even though he was still in front of Felipe, Rubens' car began slowing down. But this wasn't because of racing skill, it was because Rubens' car was suffering a mechanical failure. In a split second, a suspension spring shot out from Rubens' car and struck Felipe directly in his head at over 160 miles per hour. Even though he was wearing a helmet, the impact force was equivalent to being
Gang, it went through that helmet into his head. That's crazy, bro. And he's going that fast of speed. Nigga said, injuries ever survived. He survived this?
Spring penetrated through Felipe's helmet visor and hit him above his left eye, instantly fracturing his skull. The man was knocked unconscious while still traveling at top speed. His car continued straight off the racing line, heavily accelerating and heading directly toward a tire barrier. Tragically, the Ferrari slammed into the wall at full racing speed, crushing Felipe inside. He slumped unconscious in the cockpit. Track marshals rushed to extract him, but he wasn't moving. Medical teams airlifted him to a hospital in Budapest, where surgeons performed emergency life-saving efforts on him. Felipe spent over a week in the hospital, but luckily enough, he survived this horrific event. He would go...
Yo, I'm not gonna lie, I don't know how that nigga survived, bro. Like, good for him that he survived. I'm really glad that he survived. But, bro, you got, like, under high speeds, you got essentially shot in the head through your helmet at high speeds and crashed and lived to tell the tale. Bro, and the thing that be crazy is that after this, be like, oh, yeah, I'm still gonna do F1. And I understand his passion. People love it. Like, people love doing what they love to do. But, bro, I almost died to streaming, gang. Like, I'm almost dead ass lose my life to streaming game. Y'all gonna see me as a salary man. Y'all gonna see me motherfucking at Panera pushing bagels, bro. Cause it's just not, I'm just not doing it no more, yeah.
On to miss the remainder of the 2009 season, watching from his hospital bed as his hopes for the championship evaporated. But incredibly enough, he would return to Formula One in 2010, just 8 months after an injury that should have ended his life. The sleepyhead incident.
Yeah, bro, me personally, I take that joint as a wake-up call, bro, and just dip out.
Manuel Fangio was already a legend. The sleepyhead incident. Manuel Fangio was already a legend in motorsport, but in 1952, he was pushing himself beyond human limits. Formula One in the early 50s was brutal. Drivers raced nearly every weekend across Europe with minimal rest, while also driving themselves between circuits in regular cars to save money. Fangio hadn't slept in 48 hours.
Damn.
Nonetheless, he had driven overnight from one race to reach Monza for the Italian Grand Prix. Then he immediately participated in practice sessions. His team urged him to rest, but Fangio kept insisting that he was fine. He was a psycho, but he was also one of the greatest drivers who ever lived. A man who would eventually win 5 world championships. So,
damn,
surely enough, he could handle a little sleep deprivation. The race began.
Nah, gang, racing while having sleep deprivation sound like hell. Bro, I can't drive while I'm sleepy as fuck, bro, because like me, I'm not locked in, bro. Like, a car accident is bound to happen, so I don't know how motherfuckers going at high speeds, not having, oh, nigga, you not going to take at least a little Bang energy drink? Something? Nigga, you want gamers?
And while shooting down the roads at over 100 miles per hour on Monza's high-speed layout, Fangio's body finally gave out.
Damn.
His exhausted mind told him that he was just blinking, but in reality, he was actually falling asleep behind the wheel, and at those speeds, a moment is enough. His Maserati veered off the racing line. He quickly woke up and tried to correct his position, but his reaction time was dulled by exhaustion. The car left the track at high speeds of about 100 miles per hour.
Yo, I don't know how be surviving this. I know they have the gear and everything, and that's most of the time like how they live, but bro, like you can only imagine how tired this is, bro.
Then it hit a patch of rough ground and went flying airborne. The Maserati somersaulted multiple times, tumbling end over end, like a toy thrown by a child. Fangio, strapped in with minimal safety equipment by modern standards, was thrown violently inside the cockpit with each rotation. When the car finally came to rest upside down, track marshals sprinted over, expecting to find a fatality. But, to everyone's absolute surprise, Fangio was barely alive. He had suffered severe neck injuries, and in a time before modern medicine, doctors warned that he could have easily been paralyzed or utterly destroyed by the impact forces.
Damn, bro.
But Fangio recovered. Not only
Yeah, let me see that photo of him.
paralyzed or utterly destroyed by the impact forces. But Fangio
Holy.
recovered. Not only did he return to racing, but he went on to dominate Formula One throughout the 50s.
Yeah, nigga, I don't know. Maybe it's just like an ambition thing. Like if Luffy almost died becoming king of the pirates, he wouldn't stop trying to become king of the pirates. So he just has a high ambition. This is better than me, gang. If I almost fall asleep racing, bro, and my whole vertebrae is cooked and I can't almost walk again.
Winning 5 world championships between 1951 and 1957. And, this man isn't actually really a stranger to surviving impossible situations. Just a year later, he would be kidnapped in Cuba by Fidel Castro's rebels.
What?
But surprisingly, he was unscathed. His kidnappers treated him with tons of respect.
Oh,
The
shit.
crash at Monza that nearly
Bro's life is crazy.
him became just another scar in a career defined by legendary resilience and skill. His survival was attributed to both luck and his exceptional physical conditioning, though even Fangio admitted afterward that racing without sleep had been an inexcusable mistake that almost cost him everything. The seat incident. On
The seat went
September
up somebody's
1st,
butt?
in 1990, Martin Donnelly was a rising star in Formula One for the Lotus team. During a practice session ahead of the Spanish Grand Prix, he was pushing his car through the high-speed corners of the racetrack when a suspension failure sent him careening toward a concrete barrier at approximately 170 miles per hour.
Oh man, concrete
The
barrier.
impact was catastrophic. The Lotus Lamborghini hit the barrier with such force that the car literally split in two. The cockpit structure separated and the wheels flew off in different directions. But most horrifying of all, Donnelly was ejected from the cockpit while still strapped to his seat. He crashed onto the track surface like a rag doll at speeds over 100 miles.
How are they
Bystanders froze in
living
absolute
this?
disbelief as Donnelly was laying on the asphalt, unconscious, with his legs bent at unnatural angles and blood pooling around him. Medical crews reached him within seconds, but his injuries were so severe that trackside doctors immediately knew that he wasn't alive. Donnelly was placed in a medically induced coma
Oh, so he
and
died.
airlifted to a hospital in Seville. For days, he remained unconscious while surgeons performed multiple emergency procedures to stabilize his shattered body. To everyone's utter shock, he finally woke.
Yo, I'm not
However,
gonna lie, bro.
doctors-
These is having some anime flashback in their head, bro. Where if they have enough willpower, they can live, and if they don't, then they die. Cause bro, they's like, oh, his legs the wrong way. He in a pool of blood. His neck turned the wrong way. One of his eyeballs is out. His butt cheeks is inward. Yeah, again, he dead. And then bro just wake up. What?
Delivered
I
devastating
seen die for less.
news. They stated that Donnelly wouldn't ever walk again because
Which
the
makes
damage
sense.
to his legs and pelvis was so extensive that any mobility seemed impossible. But the racer refused to accept that prognosis. Over the next 2 years, he underwent brutal physical therapy and rehabilitation. Slowly and impossibly, he regained the ability to walk, defying
Yo, I ain't gonna lie, this nigga's the GOAT. I'm gonna be honest, bro's the GOAT. I'm gonna be honest, bro. Bro said I'm not doing it and learn how to walk again after it was stated that he cannot walk again. Yeah, bro's the main character.
every medical expectation. While he never returned to Formula One racing, he did eventually race in other series, and he went on to live a full life.
Wow. Good for that. That's insane. Bro got hockey.
7 seconds.
27 second incident. Yeah, somebody's dead.
Cars came screaming into the first corner of the racetrack at over 100 miles per hour, with drivers left and right jockeying for position. The tension was tight, but the cars were packed even tighter. Each vehicle closely paralleled the other, while waiting for an opportunity to overtake the lead. And then, it happened. Romain Grosjean, starting from the midfield in his VF20, made contact with another car. The touch sent his car skating right across the track directly into the path of the metal barrier at 140 miles per hour.
Fuck.
The impact, as usual, was devastating. The force was registered at 67 Gs, which is more than enough to cause fatal injuries. To really put the impact of this collision into perspective, it's like being placed into a medieval catapult and then being shot full force into a wall that's
Wow.
like 10 feet away from you. But the crash itself wasn't the worst part.
What was the worst part? Yo, the equipment really be saving these guys' lives, bro. That's crazy, bro. That's crazy amount of force. Like, anybody with no equipment on would just be like Play-Doh.
When Grosjean's car hit the barrier, it didn't crumple in a controlled manner like modern F1 cars are designed to do. Instead, it was flipped over and the barrier penetrated the car's survival cell, essentially spearing through it. The car was split into two pieces. The rear section with the engine remained on one side of the barrier, while the front section with Grosjean inside was wedged into the barrier opening. When this happened, the fuel tank ruptured on impact.
Let me know! Let me know! Holy luck, bro. Well, not good luck, but holy bad luck, bro.
And began spilling fuel across the superheated engine and exhaust components. In just the blink of an eye, the fuel ignited instantly, creating a massive fireball that engulfed what remained of the cockpit. The flames reached over 20 feet high, and temperatures inside the fire exceeded 1,600 degrees Fahrenheit.
No way he survived.
Although Grosjean miraculously survived the initial
How?
he was still trapped. The twisted metal of the barrier was pressing against the car from one side, and the halo device, a titanium ring that sits above the driver's head, was wedged against the barrier on the other side, effectively keeping him tied down.
Damn.
He couldn't move, he couldn't escape, and as the car caught on fire, so did he. For 27 seconds, Grosjean would scream in horror while being stuck in a 1,000-degree inferno that consumed every inch.
Gang, there's no way. And if he is alive, bro, he's like living the craziest like life ever. If you're burnt at 1,000 degrees, bro, you can't even take touching the stove at goddamn 300 degrees, bro, for a second, my nigga.
His body. Medical personnel took too long, and the fire was too big. Everybody immediately knew that they just witnessed a man passing away in one of the most shocking ways possible without being able to do anything about it. That is, until a miracle appeared on the scene.
What?
A blazing figure emerged from the flames. After being cooked alive for what felt like a lifetime, Grosjean shockingly climbed out of the inferno and ran out into the open with his entire race suit on fire. He later described those 27 petrifying seconds. This is what he said went on from his perspective. I woke up upside down.
Gang, I think being an F1, bro, gives you like, bro, you got like a guardian angel over you, because it's no way these should be living this. I'm glad they are, but it's literally like no way, bro. Like, holy
27 petrifying seconds.
Came out like
this is what he said went on from his perspective. I woke up upside down, and at first I tried to
this was last year? Or 2020? It was 2020, bro.
Out, but then I couldn't move, so I just decided to wait there for help to come. That is, until I realized my entire car was engulfed in flames. Immediately, I tried to unbuckle my safety harness, but I couldn't find the release mechanism with my gloves. I could feel my hands burning. They were literally on fire, and my race suit was melting into my skin. So I tried a second time to release the buckle, but I failed again. At that point, I just realized that this was my end. This was the way I was going to go out, and so I relaxed in peace with myself and accepted it. And then I thought of my wife and kids.
Wow, bro.
At that point, I wouldn't stop trying until I realized I was outside of the car. Grosjean had suffered severe burns to both hands, particularly his left hand, which
his face looked pretty good though. Like, he's not like, he didn't get burnt as much as I thought he was for 1,000 degrees.
Showed second and third degree burns. But he was alive, surprisingly with minimal damage.
Crazy willpower, bro.
Formula One drivers exist in a unique space where they face potential fatalities at hundreds of miles per hour every time they race. Yet modern safety innovations have...
Damn, it's crazy, bro. If he didn't have people that he loved back at home, bro, he would have just gave up and that would have been it, bro. But he just like, he had people to go back to, bro.
Have made survival increasingly possible, even in the most catastrophic accidents. The event organizers, safety engineers, and racers all go through endless sacrifice to keep the passion and tradition of these wonderful sports alive. Wonderful sports that connect us across the world as a people, regardless of our age, language, heritage, or national affiliation. No matter the climate of positivity or negativity we're in, so long as we as humans can share a passion, we can share our humanity. Stupid, senseless, fun. Be grateful to those who are brave enough to keep passion and humanity thriving by putting on a show for us all, and as always, have a happy day.
Shout out to all our F1 racers, bro. Chad, could y'all ever do F1 racing? I know I couldn't, bro. Like, I don't even like driving fast, bro. Driving in F1, going above 100, yeah, I'm cool. I'm impressed personally, bro. But I'm glad that everybody in this video lived to see another day. that was a crazy video, bro. Glad everybody survived. We're gonna put those on the live channel. If you're watching this on the live channel, Twitch Blue Rod in the description. Come to the stream and yo, I would say y'all be careful out there, but I don't think most of y'all are F1 racing. I'm gonna be honest, but yeah, IBBG.